The Institute on Disability and Public Policy. An introduction. The IDPP is a network of universities and outreach partners focused on the ASEAN region, based at American University in Washington, D.C. The IDPP's inaugural annual meeting and two-week residency in Bangkok, Thailand, July 18th through July 29th, 2011.
We are so excited to be here with you today and to have our partners representing the network that is growing within the Institute on Disability and Public Policy. The IDPP is the result of almost 2 years of work. It started with vision that we sometimes refer to as the dream of the IDPP.
This dream plan of IDPP is a creation of a casual talk between our chairman, Mr. Sasagawa of the Nippon Foundation, and myself a few years ago. This is a great day because our common goal, common dream today got started. Our dream came true.
Is there a way to help strengthen the public policy in the ASEAN region with and for persons with disabilities?
Why is it important to strengthen disability policy in the ASEAN region and around the world?
According to the World Report on Disability, developed by the World Health Organization and the World Bank, an estimated 15% of the world's population is with disabilities. If we consider that there are 600 million people in ASEAN countries, it is essential to the achievement of inclusive society for 90 million persons with disabilities who should be fully included in the process of ASEAN's economic and social development.
And 60% of the world population belongs to our region, the biggest region. And I was working with South Asia. South Asia population itself is the double than the African population. It's a huge population. And ASEAN is the very most developed sub-region in the Asia-Pacific region. So ASEAN is seeking for unification and harmony among the 10 countries.
There is so much talk about the rise of Asia and that this is the Asian century. And I feel very strongly that to make this a reality, we will need to really unleash the talents of all good men and women in this part of the world. And I think this institution, IDPP, and this undertaking operates on the hypothesis that if you give training and you create networks, what skills and talents can you unleash among those of our fellow citizens that we define as disabled?
What does this mean for the future of persons living with disabilities?
As you age, you will have some type of disability. So the number of people who are covered under the Convention of the United Nations for Persons with Disability is 1 billion people who are identified as 10% of the population. But if you incorporate aging, you will have something like 2.5 billion people who will have, in the process of the next years, a disability. It is vital that programs like this be instituted in the rest of the world also, because you need people with disabilities to take ownership of this, but can guide the process for an enforceable rights-based mechanism.
How does the IDPP's infrastructure help support persons living with disabilities?
Is there a way to use creative information and communication technologies that would help to create an environment where we could build this cadre of leadership of persons with disabilities as well as persons without disabilities in the region who can focus on disability and public policy issues? I'm here with you physically, but we've got two people who are captioning who are in California actually, starting to show you how the distributed collaboration really works. These tools really do provide an infrastructure to be able to work together over distance.
Geographically distributed collaborative learning. How do we use information technology to create an environment where students can work together as if they're in the same physical place, but they could be located anywhere in the region and anywhere in the world. And just like students can be located anywhere in the region or the world, so can the faculty. So we talk about that as a cyber learning environment. And what's revolutionary, I think, is taking that cyber learning model and applying it to a specific graduate school focused on specific issues. In this case, the complex intersection of disability and public policy issues.
What are the IDPP's key objectives?
The IDPP is an accelerated one-year master's program. It's a 39 credit hour program that includes a core curriculum as well as specializations for the students. There are 4 key objectives of the IDPP. The first, and it's really the centerpiece of the IDPP, is a master's program. We thought one of the ways that would stimulate the creation of this cadre of leaders would be through advanced educational opportunities at the intersection of disability and public policy issues. We have a Master's of International Affairs in Comparative and International Disability Policy, and we're pleased today to be welcoming our first cohort of students from the ASEAN region into this new Masters of Comparative and International Disability Policy. And in fact, the cohort of students are next door getting their initial orientation to the IDPP. In addition to the master's program, which is being offered by American University and the School of International Service, we have 3 other objectives for the IDPP. The second objective is a continuing education program, which includes eventually a certificate program. We also have an outreach program. You'll see that in addition to our university partners, we also have outreach partners. The 2 that were part of our initial launch of the IDPP are partners here at APCD, the Asia Pacific Development Center on Disability, as well as International Consortium for Education of People with Visual Impairment. The 4th component is collaborative research and the collaborative research agenda. So those are the 4 key objectives of the IDPP.
July 18th marks the beginning of the IDPP's first annual meeting, which will include an opening ceremony. This is the first time that all IDPP partner institutions, advisory board members, and students have gathered in one place. Even though the IDPP talks a lot about cyber infrastructure and a cyber learning environment, it recognizes that face-to-face interaction is critical. This annual meeting is a chance to get together for the first time ever with representatives of all IDPP partners. The day will end with a reception and a dinner, which gives an opportunity to socialize as well. The annual meeting kicks off the IDPP's 2-week residency for students. Starting today, for the next 2 weeks, students will be engaged in a range of activities. Faculty members give what are called faculty chats. They will introduce a series of ideas that will be followed up on later in the actual classes that students will be taking. IDPP outreach partners are also present and will be introducing themselves and working with the students. The IDPP will also take students on practice field trips. The academic portion of the 2-week residency is being hosted by one of the IDPP's university partners, Mahidol University at the Salaya campus. That was also the location for the signing ceremony on the 4th of April when the IDPP was formally launched. What is the future of the IDPP?
The 1-year program will end next year at this time with another annual meeting for the IDPP, and it will be the welcoming for the incoming students for next year's cohort. So next year at this time will be a very exciting period when all of these different pieces are coming together.
We're very hopeful that this degree program will not only be successful for us, but successful for universities around the world. So this is something that needs to be done as quickly as possible to empower more people so we can have a world with greater chances for peace and prosperity.